So let's talk about the Rsync situation, shall we? So Rsync development had mostly slowed down over the years, that is until around about here, just after March 1st. That is when Andrew Tridge, better known online simply as just Tridge, also known as the guy that got all the kernel developers banned from BitKeeper, which directly led to the creation of Git, but that is a story for another time that I've probably told before. We had this commit right here on March 1st. The commit itself doesn't really matter. The important part is Tridge and Claude, co-authored by Claude Opus 4.6. Here is that commit in the commit log. Commits on March 1st, but it's committed on March 2nd. Let's not consider how GitHub handles its timestamps. Anyway, before that date, you don't see Claude anywhere, but you also see massive gaps between any development actually being done. After this point, though, Claude. Let's go to the next page. Claude, lots and lots of Claude. There's some not Claude here. If we go to the next one, Claude, lots and lots and lots and lots of Claude. No Claude here. Next page again. Lots and lots of Claude. As of late, the majority of the patches being made on Rsync are co-authored by Claude. It's unclear exactly to what extent Tridge is actually making use of Claude, but again, referring back to the graph, considering the work has massively increased ever since its inclusion, I think it's fair to say he is using it relatively actively. Do note, though, that a lot of the changes being made are not general purpose code. They are things for the test suite, they are things for the CI pipeline. That doesn't mean they aren't without their issues, because when the change was made to rewrite the test suite in Python, what effectively happened is Claude decided to generate a testing framework. And there's a lot of testing being done in here that doesn't make much sense, tests that literally cannot fail. That's not our main focus, but even the test suite does have quite a few problems. Whilst the majority of the changes are cases like this, there have been actual code changes, there have been security changes, there have been feature changes, and this has resulted in quite a number of issues being opened up around things that people are convinced are regressions. For instance, Rsync 3.4.3 does not build on older Darwin. This one actually does have a specific patch that is called out. That is this one here, commit 30656C5. This is one of the ones co-authored by Claude, and getting rid of that does appear to fix it. We have regression in 3.4.3, invalid argument 22 on all file reads when using native protocol, 3.4.3, linux/openat.h, no such file or structure, security fix breaks --link--dest via rsync daemon, syscall.c fails to compile on Linux 5.10 due to syscall openat2 not being defined in ASM uni std_64.h, and rsync refuses absolute source path starting with /. Do note, though, that whilst a lot of these are being cited as issues in 3.4.3, specifically because of the inclusion of Claude, some of these are not actually that. It's just now there is a lot more eyes on Rsync, and there's a lot more people trying to find issues, so there's cases like this one. Wire value mod time nsec out of range regression with io.c in version 3.4.3. Someone was able to replicate this problem in 3.2.7. This is not at all related to Claude. Then we have this one here, which is for a different program. This is Rsync. That's a problem with rclone, not the same thing. Then we have this one here, where whilst people are stating this has to do with Claude, the actual commit is from 2025. Let alone the fact that for some of these, there is not even a replication condition, there is not a commit that's causing the problem, it's just a lot of these were being reported at this time, therefore all of these are related to what is now happening. There is a lot of I would say miscommunication, intentional lying about what is going on to make this seem way, way worse than it actually is. There are actual problems and actual regressions that have been introduced following the introduction of Claude into the codebase, but not every single one of these is due to that happening. The point where this first started gaining attention was with this post on Mastodon. So my systems recently updated to Rsync 3.4.3, and as soon as that happened, my backup system, which does incremental backups using multiple --compare--dest equals arguments, started to fail on anything but a full backup. Revert to 3.4.1, and it works. So I go look at the source in GitHub to see what might have changed, because there doesn't seem to be anything relevant in the changelog. Since 3.4.1, 36 commits by Tridge and Claude. Oh, for F's sake. Following that, this exact comment got posted onto the GitHub issue tracker with nothing else being said with it, just a comment from Mastodon with this title right here. Then, this got posted over to Hacker News, and well, things kind of exploded from there. This is just on the Hacker News thread, and it would have been fine if things were contained to the Hacker News thread. They were not contained to the Hacker News thread. This might look short, but that's only because 224 items have not been shown. There is also a second thread. Remove all LLM-generated commits before people get hurt by this nonsense, with nothing being provided in the description. And this one also got not as much, but still quite a bit of attention. Is there another load in here there somewhere? No, maybe I'm just imagining things. Quite a bit of attention here. But the main thread. This is an absolute hellscape of nothing productive being discussed. Let me just show you just a couple of excerpts. From people defending Rsync, the issue tracker is not a place for you to farm viral social media posts. Either report an actionable bug or fork it yourself. Venting about the developer's choices is not productive. Stop. You know nothing. You have shipped 0 features by hand. No one has ever depended on your code. You are a finger-wagging AI wrote this type in an era where you hide in plain sight, coasting on the moral high ground of writing toy projects and scripts from scratch. Can't ship, can't adapt, can't even realize the issue tracker is not the place for this kind of attitude. Now that's people in favor of Rsync. You might notice the thumbs down. Let's look at the other side. When I said this had nothing to do with the code, nothing to do with the project, I meant it. Isn't the issue tracker meant for complaints too? Like, if not here, then where else? Right here. Discussions. You can tell that so much bullshit is being put into the codebase by people who love Claude code and Codex too much. We will never get out of this hole. People are just posting memes in the thread. We have this Terry Davis gif. And this is just, like, there's nothing of value to be had from 99% of the thread. There are, like, very few comments, like one from Rebane here. Please consider at the very least keeping around a stable branch of Rsync, only getting bug fixes and security fixes. I use Rsync on hundreds of terabytes of data, and it has been an amazing tool for that because of the stability and reliability it provides. I hope it can continue to fit that use case and remain a piece of software that can be trusted. Obviously, it's requesting, hey, do some work and pin this, but like, at least this is respectful, and Rebane's actually a developer who makes really cool things. I've talked about their work before. But that's not what most of the thread is. That is not most of the thread at all. Honestly, what I'm really impressed about is that Tridge has not closed the thread. It just keeps going and going and going. No comments are being moderated. No comments are being deleted. It's just a Reddit thread at this point. This is not a GitHub issue tracker. I don't know what's going on here. So far, the only thing Tridge has said in the thread is this. In case anyone doesn't know, the issue is fixed in master here 887. There will be a new release soon. I'm just dealing with a pile of other issues first. All patches are reviewed by humans. We have 3 people on the Rsync security team now. Tridge has been around for a long time. He does not need to hear this from me, but this is the best way to handle a situation like this. Don't spend all day sitting around replying to people, because a lot of the people in this thread, they don't develop Rsync. They don't, in some cases, even use Rsync. They just found a social media trend to jump onto, and they want to argue AI bad, AI bad, AI bad. They don't even know the context of the project, what issues the AI actually caused, because yes, there were some issues, but a lot of the things being stated, as we saw, had nothing to do with that whatsoever. So let Tridge go through the issues, work out what regressions were actually caused by these changes, and actually improve the software. Work on the issues, push the fixes, go and live your life, because any sort of replying in this thread that isn't, I am just fixing this, is not going to be productive. You are never going to convince anyone in this thread that you are not the most evil person for the moment. In a week from now, they'll all forget, but this very moment, that's what they're focused on. Some of the comments are getting very, very excessive. I can't show the image, but you can find it on the thread. This is me strangling the project janitor that pushed vibe code commits to this repo, by the way. What? Why? Why? What are we trying to achieve here? While stupid, comments like this one I think are really funny. People are complaining about the use of AI in Rsync. So this person went to an AI to ask the AI why people are complaining about the use of AI in Rsync. You can't make this up. This is so stupid. Hard to refrain from mocking this project after the clownish replies people have witnessed from the maintainers. You haven't seen replies from the maintainers because Tridge has said one thing. That is all. Now we are actually just making things up. Like, entirely making things up. I do really love comments like this one. So, version 3.4.1 is stable, right? Fork it to make sure it doesn't disappear. There's a reason why we are in the situation we are in right now, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But firstly, this has been bleeding out into other project issue trackers as well. Here we have... where is it? Here we have Void Linux, Rsync, multiple new bugs and regression reported upstream. From a member of this project, I've stripped the irrelevant portions of your issue from the report. If you feel this substantially changes your intent, please close the issue. This is absolutely not the place to start a holy war about the method of development or the intent behind recent changes in Rsync. We all have our own opinions about that. They aren't relevant to the packaging discussion. We can use this thread to discuss the merits of reverting Rsync to avoid known issues and any others that might appear. Any comments that stray from this purpose will be hidden or deleted. One of those comments has already been hidden because somebody was trying to make the argument that this is a similar case to like XZ or other projects where there has been like intentional sabotage of the project. People forgot who Tridge was. Tridge is not a new guy. Tridge has been around in Linux longer than some of the people watching have been alive. We have another one from Nix Packages, Rsync 3.4.1 to 3.4.3, and this linked out to a couple of the, where are they? A couple of the issues that have been reported. Gen 2 has an open issue for this version, which was fixing a bunch of CVEs, and obviously, as we've seen throughout this, it also introduced a number of regressions. Again, we're focusing here on the actual regressions from this version, not older bugs that just haven't been fixed yet. Then over in Chimera Linux, update to 3.4.3, and someone simply just posted links out to those issues, along with issues being made over on projects that make use of Rsync like Timeshift, feature request additional non-Rsync backup methods, and then discussing all of the issues which have been reported, and something is being discussed here, but nothing has really happened. Basically, adding something that is not rsync would take quite a bit of time, so unless you want to do the same thing to timeshift, it's going to take a bit of time to actually implement something. So for now, roll back to an older version, which is known to be working. One thing I've been seeing a lot of during this is people just ignoring who Tridge is, just assuming that everything here is being just vibed with no testing whatsoever. Obviously, there have been actual real regressions made here, but it's nowhere near as bad as people are making it out to be. And with nobody going and actually trying to find replication conditions, nobody actually trying to find the commits that are causing things, of the ones we can see, it's clear that a lot of these issues are just older issues that are now being discovered. Basically, we have commits go up, AI is involved, some of them are regressions, some of them are old bugs now being discovered, therefore, AI is the cause of every single one of these problems, even for code that was written 3 years ago. There are some people outside of the thread that are at least trying to calm things down, but people like to be angry, as should be obvious by the fact that you've seen the thread. Here we have a comment from Sam James, who you also saw over on the Gen 2 thread as well. This was reported by Sam James. You may also know the name as the guy who found the XZUtils problem. One thing I will say on Rsync is the regressions aren't new with it. It does something hard, it has to deal with symlinks. Releases have often had regressions for a long time, especially for security fixes, and it long predates LLMs because symlinks are hard. Of course, seeing a gazillion Claude commits still makes me uncomfortable, but it's important to see what's new as well. I'll also say that a few years ago when Tridge, who I have much respect for, returned to help maintain Rsync, I got the impression they were pretty desperate for help and new blood as they started a Discord community. There are people talking about this being a situation like GZ Doom, where the maintainer of GZ Doom came back and then started just vibing in the repo, annoying the people who'd been maintaining it over the past couple of years. I've been seeing people say, oh, I'm gonna fork Rsync and then that's gonna solve everything. Good. Fork Rsync, because the reason that Tridge is even on the project in the first place is the prior maintainer stepped down. Tridge is the original author. Tridge is coming back to help out. The GitHub repos have moved to a new Rsync project organization because various life events have been monopolizing my time. I reached out to Tridge, Andrew Tridgell, the original author, and he has graciously agreed to get back into Rsync work, along with Paul Makarus, who was also an early contributor to Rsync. This new team will be working mainly on maintenance tasks and not so much on new features. If you want to get involved, feel free to reach out on the new Discord Rsync project channels. Tridge needs help with the project. That's what's happened here. Nobody's helping out. Tridge is basically by himself, outside of the review and the bit of work being done by the other people. If you don't like the inclusion of the AI code, if you want to fork the project, if you want to help out, do it. Actually do it, because that is why we are in the situation we are in, where Tridge has introduced Claude into the codebase, because the work is, it's just being done by Tridge, and he's not 20 anymore. Why did this error? Thank you, You know what? I love GitHub. What a great website. Tridge is basically by himself at this point in Rsync, and he doesn't have the time to maintain it. And you can just say, oh, well, you just don't have to fix the problems. The code can just stay the way it's always been. It can, but it had open CVEs. The point of this release was to fix those CVEs. It just so happens those CVEs being fixed also introduced a couple of regressions as well. Going back to the start of 2025, we see a bunch of commits being made by a bunch of random other people, but going to about mid-2025, it's pretty much all just Tridge. There's one other person here, and then it's basically all just Tridge. Oh, another person making 2 commits? I hope you can understand, at the very least, why things are the way they are. To be fair, over in BSD land, there is open Rsync, but this is not a fork, this is a different implementation, and also is in mostly the same state. They're not using AI, but also they basically just have one guy doing everything. So if that one guy steps away, good luck. I do not like the use of Claude in Rsync, but at the same time, I understand why this has happened. This is a project which is struggling to survive by a guy who has other things in his life because he's not a 20-year-old college student anymore, and nobody wants to help out. I get it. I get it. It's annoying, but I get it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. I'm sure the comments are going to be entirely uncontroversial. Completely. Nothing at all. Anyway, if you liked the video, go like the video, go subscribe as well. And if you really liked the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, check out the Patreon subscribe Stelly Bearer Pay, linked in the description down below. That's going to be it for me, and Rsync.
Like this.